Hi everybody, my name's Alan. On behalf of the crew, I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Bridging Heaven and Earth. You know, what a time. What a time. So much is going on. So much is going on the planet, you know. I mean, this particular show, although we don't normally mention the shows because we try to keep them so that they're, in a way, they're infinitely accessible, they're infinitely appropriate to any time because they're only about love and truth and connectedness and living on this planet joyously and collaboratively and creatively. But this particular time on Earth is an interesting time. We have cyclones and hurricanes and just natural disasters where so many of our brothers and sisters are experiencing such dislocation and such stress and such trauma to themselves and their loved ones and their environment. And, you know, what is it for us to do now? What is it for us who maybe are not experiencing that level of trauma? I mean, all of us have lives and all of us have ups and downs and dramas and things that are irritating, or that, you know, our mortgages do, or our boss isn't being nice to us, or, you know, we feel alone or we feel separate. And when I was sitting here, you know, getting ready for this show and getting ready for this opening is a television show, so there are cameras and, you know, extraordinary crew people around getting everything ready. And the words that kept coming through me was, it's time for a call for love, a call to love, a call for love, a call to love, for all of us, to universally, globally, galactically, however you can envision what is going on in this extraordinary experiment called life, to come together, to call for love, to call to love, and awaken to our true nature of one, our true nature of the energy of what we call on Earth in certain places God or Brahman, or that creator. That we as a species cannot be outside that energy. So in effect, we are that energy, and the goddess and I are one, and the Father and I are one. And how can we again and again let our seeming separations or our seeming fears prevent us from getting food to people who are hungry? How can it prevent us from getting water to those who don't have water, clean water? How can we let it prevent medicines to get to those who are injured and need it? And now's the time for us to come together, joyously and lovingly and collaborating, and say enough of that. And that our intention, our desire, our commitment, our unrelenting effort, energy will be to recognize that love, that unconditional love that is the heart of and the root of every human being and everything on this planet and the planet itself. And in that intention, that will start to change the world. And that is so much of what's happening now. Even with the disasters and the disharmonies and the fears and the confusion and the natural disasters, so much love is starting to manifest. So much collaboration is starting to be real on this planet. So many new paradigms of ways of acting out of love and truth and compassion are growing and exploding and coming together. And tonight's guest just travels the world with that vibration. Christine Stevens is a modern-day troubadour, and she just travels the world using drumming and music as a way to reach that unconditional love, of a way to feel that unconditional love. She's an internationally acclaimed speaker and music therapist. She's the founder of the UpBeat Drum Circles. She's the author of the Healing Drum Kit and the Art and Heart of Drum Circles. But I mean, the basis of Christine, after spending just a few hours with her, is to open the heart, to heal the heart, to let us know that love and that oneness. And her way is through the vibration of the drum. And when you hear her play the drums, you'll know why that is, and what a great gift that is for herself to be able to do that, to have that as a just beautiful destiny, and to be able to share that with the planet. And we also have some beautiful video of Christine with her drumming and drum circles, and that, she's as part of that, the Art and Heart of Drum Circles. It's a beautiful video that's available, I think, through Sounds True and through Amazon. It's just available all over, and if you want it, you can get it, and it's a magnificent thing. And as most of you know, we're in the middle of an international art project. It came as a dream, it came as a vision, to reach out to the world and as a healing, as an acupuncture, as a healing of the heart of the planet, to anybody who wants to join us, anybody whose intention is pure and clean, to produce a new original piece based on the theme Bridging Heaven and Earth, and get it to us, and we'll show it on the show. And tonight we have two beautiful friends of Bridging, Elisa Marie and Laurie Rivard, have produced extraordinary pieces, different mediums, but that energy of love, that energy of collaboration, that energy of a new paradigm. And anybody who wants to join us, the art project is infinite, it's inclusive, and everybody who wants to be part of that healing, join with us, collaborate with us. It's the time for that. So as we normally do, join me in a short meditation, then we'll have the first part of Christine's beautiful drumming video, and then Christine will be with us, then we'll have art, and it's an opportunity. So let's call to love, let's call for love, and let's come together in that intention, in that vibration, in that destiny, in that path for all of us to come together and to not allow one more time the hurts that go on now, and just let's put an end to it with the vibrational love so strong that nothing else can exist. Okay, so join me in a short meditation. Thank you. Okay, so the first music video we're going to see is, as I said, there are two parts of a beautiful video by Christine, The Art and the Heart of Drum Circles. It's really beautiful. Just settle in, let that take you, and then we'll come back and we'll be with Christine, and she'll play and she'll talk and she'll tell you, you know, how to do it and how to come into that experience. So enjoy.
Hi, I'm Christine Stevens, and welcome to The Art and Heart of Drum Circles. I'm a board-certified music therapist and a drum circle facilitator, and music has always been an important part of my life. Today, I hope to inspire you to be part of drum circles. Recreational drumming is something that's a real exciting growing fad that people are doing for their personal health and well-being. We call this the art and heart of drum circles because there's really two main goals of every drum circle. First, we want to experience the music, the art, the artistic benefit of finding the rhythm, of joining in the groove and making music together. And the second goal is the heart. This is all the ways that music extends into our everyday lives. The metaphor of the drum circle, the feeling of reducing our stress, the feeling of making music and expressing what sometimes words alone cannot say. And you may not have thought of yourself as a drummer or a musician, but actually, I believe everyone is born a drummer. We are all biologically wired for rhythm. We have a heartbeat. We walk to a rhythm. We talk to a rhythm. We breathe, we sleep and wake to a rhythm. In fact, we are all walking, talking, ticking, talking polyrhythms. Drum circles just bring out what's innate in every one of us. Now, drum circles are receiving a lot of interest today in the media. In fact, AARP's My Generation magazine refers to drum circles as the fastest growing holistic health trend. I think that's pretty incredible. In a paper published in the year 2000, Dr. Barry Bittman was able to demonstrate that drum circles, according to a specific 1-hour protocol, could reduce the stress response on a biological level. In an extension of that study, Dr. Bittman looked at employees who were stressed out and burned out. He was able to show a significant change in the feeling amongst the team members by boosting morale, reducing stress, and actually saving the employer money. So now it's time for us to get started because drum circles are really not about sitting and watching. It's really about getting involved. So let's get drumming. Now we're going to cover some of the basics of playing the drums in a way that avoids injuries and gets the best sound on the instruments. Okay, so the first thing is we want to take off any rings or bracelets or watches that could injure your hand or the drum. Okay, so let's all make sure we do that. And next is how to hold the drum. Now, if we're playing our drums and they're sitting on the ground, can't even hear them. So we have to tip them up away from our body or pick them up off the ground to get a good sound. So let's all get our drums. Excellent. You can use a stand to elevate the drum, or you can use a waist strap to hold the drum up. You can also use a drum like this in this position, which is traditional in a doumbek kind of playing position. So the first thing is we want to get a good sound on the drum by bouncing our hand off the head of the drum. Imagine this is a basketball. So let's try that in the center. Excellent. And stop. And you can hear that that's the low sound of the drum in the center, the bass. The next sound is the tone. We keep our thumbs off the drum, make kind of like this shape, a triangle shape. And now we're going to again bounce our hands off the edge of the drum for the tone sound. Ready? Here we go. And stop. And you'll notice how the hand is pretty straight, rotating from the elbow, not just from the wrist, using our whole arm. The last sound is called slap, and this is curving the hand, slightly curved, coming in towards the body and bouncing up off the drum for the highest pitch. Here we go. Ready? And. Excellent. That's great. Now you have the basic 3 tones on the djembe, the doumbek, the klungyang, and many of these goblet-shaped drums.
Hi everybody, welcome back. So that was a beautiful video. So the picture you're seeing in between us is Angels of the Universe, this beautiful piece, Elisa Marie, a beautiful friend of bridging. It was painted and fired in Botticino marble. It's another just extraordinary manifestation of that love. So we're here with Christine. Welcome. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me here. Bridging.
Yeah, bridging. So we were talking a little earlier, and you said like it would be a beautiful thing just to set a vibrational tone. So why don't you, just do a little drum, and then we'll talk a little.
Great. Well, I chose the bells and the drum because, in a way, this is the sound of heaven. The above has sort of a higher pitch, and the drum representing the sound of the earth. So if we put these together, we're making a sound that sets the intention of this show, Bridging Heaven and Earth.
All right, let's try it. Okay. That's beautiful. Yeah. So how did you come into that, that this kind of vibration, that, using, that method was your way to express love? How did you do that?
Well, it's a great question because I, like a lot of people, thought I was rhythmically challenged. And what I discovered was playing a drum, technique with sticks and trying to follow a sheet of music was a challenge for me. And a lot of people today actually live thinking that they're not musical or that they're not rhythmical. And that's a lie. I mean, we are biologically wired for rhythm. We all have a heartbeat. We all are walking to a beat. We're breathing our respiration rhythm. We sleep and wake to a circadian cycle. That's a rhythm. So we are rhythm. And it's simply about remembering that rhythm. So I had an experience where after thinking in my head that I couldn't play very well, paradiddles and all these techniques, I went to a drum circle. And someone handed me a drum like this, and all of a sudden I was putting my hands on the drum. And I felt...
And it felt right immediately.
Oh, I wasn't thinking all of a sudden. Music is so innate. It is like trying to walk and thinking about each step you would trip. So the most important thing for success in drumming has nothing to do with 1-handed, 2-handed, 3-handed counting or reading music. It has to do with connecting right here in our hearts, getting out of our heads, being in the present moment, and allowing the rhythm that only you can play. Every person has their own unique beat, and allowing that to come forth through the drum. And that's really why, as a music therapist, as a social worker, I found the drum is the most immediate access point to the human spirit. People that feel depressed, despondent, at the end of their rope, people in a crisis can find hope and healing and reconnection through this music.
Wow. So your feeling is that just by starting to do this, the whole process brings you into the knowing that you already have.
Absolutely. And that feels so good. When people reconnect to their heart, you see it. Their whole body relaxes. I think we live with so much performance anxiety and so much self-criticism in our heads. And what we're interested in, as you are, is how do we raise this vibration, this consciousness on the planet? And what we're finding with a specific spiritually focused and intention-focused drum circle is that people really entrain. They come together, and it changes our relationships. And we even have scientific research now to show that it changes our biology. In fact, Dr. Barry Bittman, our research partner and neurologist, did a study looking at 112 subjects. They took blood samples before and after an hour of drumming, according to a health-promoting protocol. And believe it or not, it actually increased the natural killer cell activity, the white blood cells in your immune system. So I think there's...
So your immune system was stronger. In essence, you were healthier.
The immune system was strengthened through drumming. And I mean, we're always buying the next drug and the next supplement. And I think what's beautiful about the drum is it's indigenous, it's simple, it's accessible. I've never met a person who can't do it. And the exciting thing is this research demonstrates evidence what, you know, cultures have known for centuries. I mean, this is not new age. Drumming has been around for probably 20,000 years. I like to say it's been tested on human subjects for 20,000 years with no side effects. So what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? You know, we are already a drum. Each and every one of us have a heartbeat all the time. So I'm looking forward to the day that I go into the pharmacy, and at the desk they have a notebook and it tells me all the drum circles in my community. And I can buy my drum at the pharmacy because this is vitamin D, vitamin drum.
Wow. And you're finding, because you travel all over the world, that really is starting to be realized in a way. You just got back from Iraq, and we're dealing with people who the theory would not be in one room together, would not be drumming together. Why don't you talk a little about that and how, you know, your travels around the world have, you know, been really, you know, opening you up, and you can see it happening all over.
Well, I think anytime you get away from America and you travel to some of these countries, I've been in Africa and in some incredible disaster areas such as Ground Zero, New Orleans, and doing the kind of work, you start to realize how privileged we are in our life, and that, you know, music in our culture in the West is like entertainment. The talented people perform for us. When you go to a place like Africa, you know, and I was in South Africa, music is part like water. I mean, it's nutrition, it's necessary. And I think we're seeing that shift in the West now. We need tools and strategies to help us reduce stress as we face the crisis, the recession, the problems in the world. What I felt in Iraq was really extraordinary. I mean, we had the first drum circle training in a war zone, the first time in history that a relief organization asked for drumming for conflict resolution. And what was amazing was that I never thought I'd feel so at home in a place I was so afraid to go. And I went there with a team. Mark Montague, Constantine came with me, and we were able to take people who would be enemies, that didn't even speak the same language. These are the people living in northern Iraq. They're Kurdish and they're Arabs. And after 5 days, these people were so connected, these 38 people, we trained them how to lead drum circles, and it transformed that community. It rippled into 7 governances in northern Iraq, where they're now doing drum circles for healing.
Wow.
I think the amazing thing is that this is such a simple tool, and it transcends words. I always feel that when we speak to each other, we use words to communicate thoughts. When we drum together, we use music to communicate energy. And I couldn't understand when I came home how I felt so close to these people that I never technically spoke to. And it's because we energetically connected and conversed in probably the language of the heart, music.
Yeah, I mean, once you start getting into where there are words, then you get concepts and definitions and all this. But, you know, with words, with music or with art, you know, it just has you know, unless you're using specific symbols, but if it's just an explosion of color and all that, and then it's just like, wow, that's universal. Right. And the more we can get to that universal place, and I think that's what you're really, you know, aiming at here, is just how can we open to that universal place again and again and again and again.
Right, and simply remember it. It's interesting when you go to a disaster place, as I went to Hurricane Katrina, for example, and bring the drum, you know, there's all these people rebuilding the homes with hammers and nails, and I always feel like the drum is the tool kit for rebuilding the human spirit. There's so much depression, we don't even hear the beginning of the suicide rates that happen when these kind of disasters occur. And when you make music with people, even I would walk into people's trailers and I'd say, "What's your favorite song? What can I sing for you?" And you know what was the most requested song? Amazing Grace.
Yeah, I'm really not surprised, you know? In a way, really.
Amazing Grace. And sometimes I would be walking with my drum, and sometimes they would reach out their hands and the two of us would play the drum together.
Wow.
And those are moments that transcend the barriers of language or resistance and fear. And all of a sudden, without even worrying about it, without even consciously thinking about it, people have fallen into a path of self-expression.
So when you go to these places, I mean, do you leave drums behind in a way? I mean,
yes, absolutely.
Right, because
through our wonderful sponsor, Remo Drum Company, and they make these wonderful drums with recycled materials.
Wow.
And they sent us to Iraq with 100 drums that we left there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So,
yeah, I was going to say, because it's like one of those things, you know, it's like just say no, or, you know, come into this, but how do you, you know, keep that momentum going? And then, you know, keep drumming and keep opening the heart. And
yes. Well, and one of the things that I find is, as you brought up the heart, is that this rhythm, the heartbeat rhythm that we played, you know, however you play that, in Iraqi, they play a lot with their finger technique on the drum. All cultures connect to that beat. So I've been so lucky. I mean, here I am, this white, blonde chick from Los Angeles, overeducated drummer. And I've gone to Africa, and I've gone to Brazil, and Iraq, and all these places where I've been accepted by the people because they see that I'm connecting to their song.
right. Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, we talk so much, I mean, that literally everyone wants to feel love and share it.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, all the concepts and all the ways that we separate out are so small compared to that experience of, you know, feeling love and sharing it. So any way that we can, you know, really break through into that field of love. You know?
Well, I think, as you said the word breakthrough, I think about a moment that I saw a woman who was drumming at a drum circle of mine. She sat in the back row, and she was very resistant. You know, this is the basic body language. You know,
Right.
someone kind of, but they're sitting there.
Right, they're in the room at least.
And her toe was tapping. And she was in her mouth saying, I don't want to do this. But her foot was doing it.
Right.
Because the body's neurologically wired for rhythm. So she was in it, and then halfway through I noticed she had moved up 2 rows.
Wow.
By the end, she was sitting in the center.
Isn't that funny?
And then she had taken a stick and she was playing the biggest drum in the circle. And we found out later that she had been facing the challenge of cancer. And she said for the first time she released her anger, that she was so angry at her disease. And that's what I find fascinating about music. It's a language of healing. It's a language of healing, and it's accessible to all people. That woman didn't have a degree in music, you know? She never took a class. And that's probably why she could really access it. So there's been so many healing moments and so many personal victories that I've been able to see, even just for the idea of empowerment. So many women are coming to drum circles now and being called to the drum. And I think it has to do with empowering our spirit. There's no reason to stop. I mean, there's no barrier. I would love to see drumming, as you brought up love, I would love to see drumming in homes, parents and children. I worked for a while as a social worker reuniting children and parents that had been removed from the foster care system. And they have this attachment disorder, and when we would drum together, it was the best therapy we could do. You could see right away the patterns, who wasn't listening, who was dominating, you know, it just was revealed in the music. And then we could change it into this beautiful rhythm altogether. So this
And it
is
felt better
very
for
unifying.
everybody.
And it feels better for everybody, including the therapist.
Right, no, absolutely, because, I mean, energetically, there's a harmony there. There's a
Yeah.
collaboration.
So I'm really blessed because I don't have to work so hard anymore, because I have this drum that does the work.
Right, and you're just a vehicle for, you know, it to happen. And yeah, and you get to participate in it. You know, you know, the thing that was really clear to me is that when you're doing this, you don't have a past and you don't have a future. You're here now. And that's where life is, and that's where the collaboration is, and that's where, so the more we can use all the different tools to bring us into the moment. And what a strong tool it is, you know, because first of all, it's that vibration. I mean, you know, the sound is one thing, and then the vibration of it.
Yeah, it feels good. It calls people. I was thinking as you were speaking about how we've been doing a drum ministry at the Agape International Center, Spiritual Center, with Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith and Ricky Byers Beckwith, and it's been so wonderful to carry the energy of a church service, which is very unifying. But then as people leave, we have this drum circle happening in this little tent, and they come in, and through the...
Every Sunday, is that?
Just about every third Sunday.
Every third Sunday.
Or the third week of every month.
Oh.
And what we find is there's an action taken. You know, transformation happens when we participate in it, right?
Right.
So the drum does nothing until you play it. And so people come into this drum tent and they carry the energy of agape. And there is such a spirit of celebration. We just use the drum to anchor the energy of love. We drum the heartbeat. You can also use the drum to anchor the energy of celebration and joy. And we definitely need some of that on the planet.
That would be a good plan.
Absolutely.
Good plan.
Can I show you that?
Yeah, please do that. Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
For example, a rhythm like this. You know, you're tapping your foot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here.
All right, go.
And we can communicate. Yeah. We can take turns and have conversations with the drum. So it really is a wonderful
you would
tool
say
for
like,
that.
and people can feel, you know, almost like the difference. Like there could be like would there be a healing beat and would there be a celebration beat?
That is a great question. Because when we created the healing drum kit with Sounds True, people often ask me, what rhythm is healing? And the answer is, it is a very individual decision. So right now I started the beat and you join me. But to discover the healing beat, I like to ask the person to sit, take a few deep breaths, and then allow your hand to play something on your drum. And the difference is allowing yourself versus trying, right? And with your eyes closed, you can tap in more with your own spirit, your own rhythm. And that's the healing beat. And it's very healing when others listen to your rhythm and join in and support it.
So you would say the most healing rhythm is the most harmonious with the person, and each person would have a different harmonious rhythm at each different moment.
Right.
So it's like infinite.
Right. And what I want to do with the healing drum kit is have people learn new rhythms. You know, there's 25 rhythm cards. Learn new rhythms so you expand your vocabulary. Once you
have to learn technique a little bit, and that's what some of the videos that we're showing.
Right. You want to have a little bit of a language, you know, la 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 la, you know, have a little bit of a voice on the drum. It's pretty simple. There's really just 3 basic sounds. And once you've mastered that, which takes about 1 minute, you know,
most people can give you that.
Because you've been doing this since you were on the pots and pans in your mother's kitchen, right? So it's just transferring that onto the drum. Once you have that vocabulary, you can tune into your own rhythm that is healing for you.
Would people normally go to that, or there would be resistance to get there? I mean, would it take some time? Would it take some feeling free or comfortable or safe? I mean, how do you...
The key is feeling free. The biggest problem we have in activating this healing potential through rhythm and creativity is the people's thoughts. So I've actually seen people as they drum thinking, you can just tell they're thinking. Yeah.
No, well, you see their eyes
I'm
spinning.
Gonna screw up, I'm gonna screw up, I'm gonna lose
this sounds weird, nobody likes it, look at that,
oh my God.
Oh
my God, right? So you see on our video what we're doing is we always get people to laugh, we get people to lighten up, we get people to close their eyes and become less self-conscious. And then usually what happens is those healing rhythms just emerge.
You know, maybe we'll talk about, I mean, you do this individually as well as drum circles. So that could be, all right, let's talk about this and let's see the second video with Christine, The Art and Heart of Drum Circles. It's beautiful, you saw the first part. And then we'll be back with Christine and the drums and just have some fun. So enjoy.
Now let's take a look at some different musical forms you can use when you're facilitating your drum circles. The form really creates shape in the music of what can otherwise be a kind of chaotic jamming experience. And when you create that shape, it's like a circle, like a story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So let's take a look at some different forms. As you can see, layering in begins with one person starting the beat, and then add in people one by one. Come on in. Come on in. end the drum circle, you can just reverse and use layering out. This way you end your circle the way you began, creating a beautiful bookend to your drum circle jam. Now layering in is a form that can also be used in the middle of the drum circle. If it's a large circle, you can layer out by group. As you can see, you can build back to the groove by layering in one person at a time. Back to the groove, go! Everybody rumble. ABA is another very effective form to organize the drum circle. We're all familiar with this form in music when we listen to our favorite songs, and we have the verse, chorus, and verse that repeats. Section A will be an opening rumble, but you can use any facilitation cue you'd like. The B section is the main part of the drum circle once the rhythm gets going and everyone's having fun. When you're ready to wrap it up, return to the A section and use your closing rumble. This gives the participants a sense of satisfaction and a feeling of accomplishment in being part of a complete musical experience.
Hi everybody, welcome back. So that was a beautiful video, The Art and Heart of Drum Circles by Christine. So the picture you're seeing in between us now, this unbelievably extraordinary picture, is Lucy Rivard, a friend of Bridging's from Canada. She's really helping us get a Bridging Facebook presence so people can go to Facebook and see all the shows, and she's just a really beautiful being. So it's an acrylic on canvas, it's called Heal the World, and it's just an extraordinary piece. So again, anybody who's interested in the art project, you don't have to be a professional artist, just the intention of love, the intention of collaboration, a new original piece based on the theme Bridging Heaven and Earth. So we were talking in the break about, like, how do you see drumming as, that we talked that, your intention is to heal the heart, to go to the root, to, wherever you go, that there are going to be issues and problems and things happening. But how do you get to the root of the problem, the heart of the problem, that disconnect? Why don't you talk a little about that?
Well, I think that's such a great question because ultimately we see a lot of ideas that are sold in the marketplace that sort of put a Band-Aid on things, and we want lasting change, we want transformation. And what I find is bringing music into these places you tap the heart immediately. When I ask people, have you ever gotten goosebumps from hearing music? What do you think people say? You know,
almost universally, yes.
right. And
right.
have you
Somewhere
ever
along the line.
cried because you heard a certain song just at the moment you needed to hear it? You know, and there's great stories of people driving in their car and they're having a crisis, and then that song comes on the radio that reminds them of someone that passed, and they just know their presence is there. And I think that's how we heal the heart. We help people remember the heart, first of all. We remind them through the music, through the freeing feeling, and often people cry because they've been reunited. It's actually called reunion grief. There's a psychological term for this.
Wow.
And so there's tears happening on the planet because we are all reuniting with this soulful level of lifestyle. And I think the next thing is, how do we share our hearts? And that's healing the community. So healing happens individually and collectively. And as I was telling you in the break, I mean, if it plays in Iraq,
right.
I feel like this can happen anywhere. This needs to happen
You actually
everywhere.
said it was with some Holocaust survivors. You just did a...
Yes. I just took drumming to the Holocaust survivors. And, you know, it's not to say it was a drum circle because it wasn't a recreational drum circle. We're getting to the point where we can't just say drum circle like yoga. There's an adjective. What kind of yoga do you do? Well, I do this or I do that. Well, we brought a Healing Health Rhythms drum circle to the Holocaust survivors. And it was a remarkable experience. And it is really where healing takes place, is from the heart, through spirit, through community. A researcher once asked the question, what is needed for healing to happen? And they found it was two things. Number one, a sense of control and a sense of support. So what I do with the drum is help people find their beat. You know, we suggest a rhythm, and then we always say, now make up your own. You know, get into it. Close your eyes and see what shows up. And there's a sense of social support. So I think that there's many healing elements embedded in the drum. It's also good exercise. You know, I mean, there's a whole obesity problem in America right now. And when we drum, we're actually using our upper body and we're burning calories. So I've seen people in rehabilitation in wheelchairs, it's the only exercise they can achieve, you know, is to drum. And what a fun way to get a workout.
Wow,
so it's really beautiful that drumming can exist in a paradigm of joy, of creation, of creativity, and still have all these great health benefits for individuals and for groups.
And we were talking earlier, there's no right rhythm, there's no right drumming, even though there are certain techniques, that everyone has a particular harmonious beat at that moment. So it's like an infinite number of moments. Why don't you talk a little about that?
Well, a great exercise that anyone can do is when you come home from a difficult day at work or wherever you've been, just let yourself sit down with a drum and tap out how you feel. And through the ISO principle, we always start where the person is and then modulate that. So I always let people start, you know, I am pissed. I had a horrible day. You know, I just can't think of any better way to say it than the drum, perhaps, right? And you say it, you release it, and then that can be transformed to the next rhythm that emerges. The idea that we put together with the Healing Drum Kit, and maybe we can try some of that technique even here at the show at Bridging Heaven and Earth, is to really give people some sample rhythms and to correlate intention and drum. What I find personally and in my work with people is the drum is an amplifier. It helps us manifest our intentions. So I want to take, you know, heaven and earth and make it into a rhythm and make it into a song, and I want to sing it. Because when I come from that vibration of love and beauty and creativity, I feel that it amplifies that intention. So I think people that want to change their life, pick the sentence, that an affirmation, a mantra, whatever you want to call it, make that sentence for yourself, sing it in the shower, drum it on your dashboard, you know, make it part of who you are on a creative level.
Just start vibrating that intention.
Absolutely. Music gets you there.
Right.
Gets
and
you there.
you have some cards that, you know, help this technique. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, this is in the Healing Drum Kit from Sounds True. It was really remarkable that they put this together. It's the first drum ever sold in grocery stores.
Wow.
And it's sold in Borders books in the religion section.
Wow. Wow.
So basically what I have here is 3 different types of rhythms, the rhythms of life, spirit, and the world, because rhythm begins in our bodies. Rhythms of heartbeat, breathing, laughing, skipping, dancing, and resting. The rhythms of spirit, which has to do with emotional states, transformation, empowerment, release, relaxation. And rhythms from the world, because It's really beautiful how many rhythm cultures there are all over the planet. So people can learn, Taiko Matsuri, a rhythm of the Buddhist tradition in Japan. They can learn Ayub, a Middle Eastern belly dancing rhythm. It's great to learn those rhythms. It's beautiful that these cultures are sharing those, and we live in this time where this planet is a drum.
Right.
And we're connecting, and these people are dancing the drum beat of the world.
Right.
So I thought it'd be fun if you want to pick a card, maybe for the intention for...
Yeah, everybody who's viewing it from now to infinity.
Yes.
Okay, should I pick one from each, or how would that...
Just pick one.
Just pick one.
We'll see. Should have had a drum roll.
Yeah, right there. Now we don't have a drum roll. Can you believe it?
Come on, we are surrounded by drums.
This is, go ahead.
Okay, Rumba Wawanko.
Oh,
Rumba,
baby, my favorite, Rumba Wawanko.
Rumba.
I'm known for that. Okay.
Good, let's play it.
Yeah, right.
Rumba is a group of music and dance styles born out of a mix of African dancing and Spanish poetry and song, so it's a bridge rhythm.
There you have it.
And it's one variation. It's popular for dancing. So imagine yourself on a hot, steamy night playing the syncopated beat on the street in Cuba, places
it's a
like
little
this.
hot here under the lights.
So I think that's why we got that.
Right. So, all right. So you do it. So okay. So why don't you lead people through it?
Okay.
So let them, picking up a drum, a pillow, however.
Right.
Okay.
So in every card, we start with the intention. The intention is to connect with this powerful Latin, Spanish, African bridge rhythm.
Okay.
Rumba. That's the intention. The second thing is how you hold your drum.
Okay.
So if you're playing rumba, and you can use the drum that comes with the healing drum kit. These these are recycled materials.
Wow.
Yep, so this is a vegetarian drum. It's not an animal hide.
So, it's like then they say, can you eat it? No,
Right. Don't.
It doesn't feel like it, but we don't know, right?
So basically, there's two sounds you need.
Right.
Boom and tap. Boom in the center, tap on the rim. Boom, tap. There, you learned your lesson. So rumba is boom, 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 tap, boom. And that's the next part, is just playing the rhythm.
Okay, so now everybody playing along. Get your pillows,
Clap,
get your drums,
clap it.
clap.
Do, do, ba, do. And it really makes a difference if you move your hips. I'm bridging heaven and earth. Now keep going, make it your own beat. One, two, ready, and...
Okay. I feel hotter and more Latin. So I don't know. All right, let's pick another one.
So
okay,
that's
so
a
that
great
was out of the
example
world one.
of the
Okay,
world
all right.
rhythms.
Good, good. I'm on fire now.
You can travel the world without
Yeah.
leaving your home. That's
There you have it, okay. Spirit, okay. Playfulness. Go, girl.
Okay, this is a great rhythm, the rhythm of playfulness. It's interesting, I was preparing for a workshop one day, and I have those little angel cards, and I was picking an angel card just on my way out the door. I thought, I'm just going to see, what angel is coming with me to this class. And I couldn't separate these two angel cards. And I said, geez, why are these stuck together? And it was playfulness and healing.
Wow.
And I said, okay, I get the message.
Right.
We think healing has to be this heavy.
We think life has to be, a learning has to be,
Right.
or growth has to be.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's not really like that.
Playfulness. And there's a reason we say we play music.
We talk about, play work, to do something, or, it's childlike. Not childish, but childlike. So,
Right.
okay. So.
And I think when you visit other countries too, work songs, people play rhythms while they're working because it transforms work into play. It transforms work into music. So the rhythm of playfulness is an invitation to be like a child banging on pots and pans.
Wow.
laughing with joy. There's no right or wrong, just the adventure of exploring. So the key, again, is the intention, first of all. Step one is, what's the intention? It's for playfulness. So you can think about something in your life, and anybody who's watching this can do this as well, that feels heavy, that feels stuck, that you need to bring some light and freedom into. And secondly, it's how you hold the drum. And this card says, you should hold the drum upside down, backwards, or whatever.
Oh, or whatever.
Because this is about playfulness.
Right, so just,
right?
yeah, right.
So you can play the drum any way you want for this rhythm, because it's kind of freeing to just, okay, there's no right or wrong.
Okay.
And then the rhythm is, as you can see on the card, bang, 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 bang.
I can handle that.
Let's do playfulness.
Okay, you know, that's playful.
It was fun when I studied people, and I found that it takes about 3 minutes to really fall into a rhythm. So sometimes we give up on ourselves, and it's good to let it go for a little while. So I want to do one more rhythm.
Okay.
This is a rhythm that I'm going to pick because
good idea.
We're on the show that's about bridging heaven and earth, and I think what you've taught me today, Alan, and through your beautiful art project, you know, this, what is it called? The Heaven and Earth Art Project, right?
Right. Something we call it the International Bridging Heaven and Earth Healing Art Project.
Beautiful, and I just can't say enough what an honor it is to be here, part of this bridge today. But what I think is so great is
They're telling me that your hair is on your mic.
Thank you.
Let's turn you around a little.
That's the thing about drumming, man. You
you're right.
Get all loose.
You got playful and wild and loose, and they couldn't hear a word you were saying, so it was really good.
Which was the most important part.
I was brilliant most of the time.
There you go.
So.
Which is that, what is the bridge between heaven and earth, really?
And it went out when you were talking about bridging heaven and earth. Now, how could that be? Speak about that again. Okay.
This beautiful art project,
there you
bridging heaven and earth, and through art, really, right? And what I love about that is you're helping us remember that what we look at and what we listen to is really the environment we want to create for our own transformation, right? So paying attention to that. But what I've learned from you today, amongst many other things, is that the heart is part of what's bridging heaven and earth. So if I can remember the heaven in my heart, then I'm in it, right? So let's play the heartbeat.
Okay.
And
yeah, let's go back to that.
The technique is very interesting. You hold the drum over your heart so that vibration comes through a drum this way. So, for example, I study with the Lakota people. They hold the drum like this if they're sending the energy to the below, because the vibration goes down. If I'm making a prayer to the above, I hold the drum this way.
Why wouldn't you hold it that way?
You could do that too.
Do I have it that way, or is it up there?
Are you an engineer?
I don't know. I don't think you really have to be a real structural engineer to know.
Well, this is just an ancient way.
The Lakotas have a little to do with east-west. No.
Yes, it's the connection.
Okay.
And so what we're going to do to drum over our heart is hold the drum like this.
Now that makes sense to me.
So that you're going to feel
the
vibration, and we're going to use mallets just to show a different way.
So anybody wants to join in and do this, please, you know.
This is just a gentle lub-dub rhythm. And you can feel it over your body, right?
Right.
And you don't want to play the drum in the very center. That's called the dead center because it cancels the vibration. So you want to play just off center. And just join me in that rhythm. Beautiful. And taking a breath. And as you're drumming this, anybody watching this, allow the rhythm to become more you. You know, that's the whole idea here. As we change the beat a little bit, representing our own heart rhythms. Very
cool.
Another great technique is to hold one drum and two people connect together on that drum. Right? One, two, ready? There you have it.
Hallelujah. That's very cool.
Thank you so much.
That's very cool.
And then I'd like to say, let's have a toast.
Okay.
This is another rhythm.
So what's the toast?
I think we should toast the connection. Thank you for bringing the drum, to the awareness of people here. And I think we should toast this future that we're birthing through these rhythms today.
Amen.
Okay.
The world is different now, really, that those rhythms happen.
Well, I think the beautiful thing about the drum, as we were talking even in the break, is that everywhere I've traveled has a drum. So this is not something new. This is something so old, part of humanity's history. And it's time to remember that, It's time to remember that.
I think a lot of what's happening is all the remembrance is happening, and all the, we were talking earlier, the new paradigms are being built, and they're making a lot more available, like instantaneously all over the world. Mm-hmm. So once this thing gets edited and this, all the pieces get put together, I mean, everybody all over the planet with an internet connection will be able to hear it, vibrate with it, and see it. So amazingly enough, we're coming to the end of this particular show. Mm-hmm. So, really, again, it's a call to love. It's a call for love. If you want any information about Christine, the DVD, the drum kit, anything, just call me, Alan, 805-687-2053. That's Alan, 805-687-2053. We need to come together as brothers and sisters in this love, for this love. Good night. God bless you. Thank you.